Step into your adventures in dreamland. Soft, surreal, and slightly cheeky sleep stories with awe and wonder. I'm Serene, your guide tonight. I'm so glad you're here. However your day unfolded, I'm grateful to be a part of how it ends. I'd love to know where you're listening from and what time it is. I read every comment. Every tap helps pay the cloud mortgage here in Dreamland. And if your finger ever drifts towards the subscribe button, rumor has it your sleep deepens by 11%. Not proven, just whispered. I say the science is still out. Now we return to what we are. It's strange. People have no idea. There are only 3 states of being, and you move through all of them every night. Right now, we're in our most superficial state, awake, bound by the senses and ego, influenced by the outward stimuli of the physical world. And while dreaming, the subconscious is in control, projecting stored impressions, thoughts, desires, no longer governed by the physical rules. And in deep sleep, there are no dreams, no mental activity, no ego, just a temporary return to the pure awareness of the soul, united with the divine, though you won't remember it. Bliss without awareness, tasting divine peace, what yogis pursue in stillness and saints devote lifetimes to finding. So relax. Let go. You are returning back to your inherent state. Freedom. Your story begins. The Treehouse Village in the Clouds resides in our Dreamscapes playlist, where we take you on surreal, dreamlike adventures. One. The tree in the backyard. The tree wasn't there yesterday. You're sure of it. You know your backyard, the patchy grass, the old fence, the spot where the rose bush used to be before it gave up and committed to being a stick. You've looked out this window 1,000 times. There has never been a tree, but there it is now. Ancient, enormous, the kind of tree that looks like it's been growing since before your house existed, before your street existed, before anyone thought to put a fence around anything. The trunk is wider than a car, the bark deeply grooved and silver gray, like the skin of something that has seen centuries pass and decided to stay anyway. This is the part of the story where a sensible person calls someone, a neighbor, a landlord, a botanist. You are, apparently, no longer a sensible person. You're not even sad about it. The branches begin far above your head, spreading outward and upward into a canopy so thick you can't see where it ends. Above the canopy, you can see the suggestion of clouds, low, lower than clouds should be, brushing the upper leaves like the tree is keeping company with the sky. Leaves rustle in a wind you can't feel from here. They're dark green, almost black, shimmering with something that might be dew or might be starlight, and carved into the trunk, A ladder, not nailed on, not built, carved. Steps cut directly into the bark, worn smooth by what looks like centuries of hands and feet, spiraling upward and disappearing into the dark of the leaves. You open the back door. The grass is cool under your feet. When did you take off your shoes? You don't remember. The air smells like moss and rain and something sweet you can't name. The tree seems to hum as you approach. A low vibration. You feel more than hear, like it's been waiting for you specifically, and is mildly relieved you finally showed up. You place your hand on the bark. It's warm, alive, pulsing faintly with something that might be a heartbeat, or might be sap, or might be magic. You've stopped trying to tell the difference. The difference, frankly, has stopped being your business. Your foot finds the first step. It holds. Solid, steady, exactly the right size for your foot, as if the tree measured you while you were standing in the kitchen this morning and made adjustments. You begin to climb. The bark is rough under your palms, but not unpleasant, textured, grippy, almost helpful, like the tree is a teacher who would rather you didn't fall off. Step after step, spiral after spiral, you rise. Your backyard shrinks below you. Your roof appears, then disappears. The neighborhood becomes a patchwork of tiny lights and tiny lives, none of them aware that someone is climbing a tree that shouldn't exist, toward a place that probably also shouldn't. The leaves close around you. The world below vanishes, and above, light, warm, golden, glowing through the branches like someone left a lamp on for you. You climb toward it, to the lantern branch. The first stop is a branch, not a platform, not a deck, a branch, wide as a country road, sturdy as a bridge, growing horizontally from the trunk and stretching out into the gold dark space between leaves. You step off the ladder onto it, and the branch holds you the way a sidewalk holds you, like it was always going to, and everywhere, lanterns, dozens of them, hundreds maybe, hanging from twigs, tucked into hollows, swaying from thin cords looped around smaller branches. Some glow warm gold, others flicker pale blue. A few pulse gently pink, like heartbeats made of light. They're not electric. There's no hum, no wire. They just glow, as if someone caught pieces of sunset and forgot to let them go. An old woman sits on the branch ahead, her back to you. Silver hair pinned up with what looks like 2 small twigs. She's wearing a dark green coat that goes all the way to her ankles, the sleeves pushed up past her elbows. Her hands move steadily over a small glass sphere, working without looking down, as if her fingers know the work better than her eyes do. She doesn't turn around, but she speaks. Now, Wren ties the wick, she says. in a perfectly calm conversational tone. Now Wren admires it. Wren has very high standards. You stop walking. She finally glances over her shoulder, eyes amber and sharp. Don't mind me. I narrate. Helps me keep track. Wren has been making lanterns for 60 years, and Wren has never once misplaced a wick, and that's because Wren announces each step out loud, like a court stenographer. She turns back to her work. Now Wren waves the climber over. The climber is tentative. Wren respects this. You walk over, more out of curiosity than confidence. Up close, you can see what she's doing. She dips her hand into a small jar beside her and comes up with light, actual light, glowing in her palm like liquid gold. She pours it into the empty sphere, taps the glass twice with one fingernail, and the lantern comes alive, warm and steady, throwing a small patch of gold onto the bark beside her. The tree gives it, she says, before you can ask. Light, warmth, whatever the village needs. Wren just shapes it. Don't ask Wren how the tree makes light. Wren has theories, but Wren is not in the mood to be wrong out loud today. She holds the new lantern out to you. Small, warm, about the size of a plum. For the climb, she says. You'll want it. The tree behaves itself down here. It starts misbehaving above the cloud line, just so you know. You take the lantern. It's warm in your palm. The glow is steady, gentle, the color of late afternoon. You tuck it into your pocket. It settles there like a small, calm animal. Above the cloud line, you ask. Wren has already returned to her work. Now, Wren begins another lantern. Now, Wren is being mysterious on purpose. Wren enjoys this part. She glances over her shoulder one more time, a smile crinkling the corners of her eyes. Climb. The baker's expecting you. He always knows. You look up. Through a gap in the leaves, another curve of the carved ladder appears, leading higher into the gold and green dark. And on the air, bread. You climb. 3. The bread house. The smell pulls you upward. Yeast and butter, and the particular sweetness of dough that's had time to rise. It gets stronger with every step, wrapping around you like a warm coat, someone draped over your shoulders without asking, in the best possible way. You round the trunk and find a hatch, a small wooden hatch built into the side of the tree, closed but warm to the touch. There's no platform here, just the ladder and the hatch and the smell of bread. You hesitate. Then you knock, because what else do you do? A muffled voice from inside. Come in, before the heat gets out, and we both have to apologize to the loaves. You push the hatch open and climb through. The bread house is small, barely bigger than a closet, hollowed directly out of the tree's heartwood. The walls are warm and smell of sap and butter. There's no oven. There's no stove. There's a wooden table in the center, and on the table, a basket of bread that is somehow steaming gently, as if the tree itself bakes the loaves and just delivers them to the basket when they're ready. A man stands beside the table, broad-shouldered, white apron, flour dusted across his beard like a small permanent snowfall. He's holding a loaf the size of a melon and speaking to it directly. "Easy, you," he murmurs, very tenderly, to the bread. "Don't go cold on me. He's coming. He's right here. There. See? I told you." He looks up, beams. "There you are. I'm Tobin. This one's been getting nervous. They sense when a climber's close. Don't tell anyone I said that. The loaves get smug." He breaks off a piece, hands it to you. "Try this. Tell me what you taste." You take a bite, and for a moment, you're somewhere else. A kitchen, a morning, someone you loved who is no longer in the kitchen. The bread tastes like memory, like safety, like the specific kind of home that's more feeling than place. You don't remember the last time you ate something, and it made you feel like a person. Tobin watches your face, nods, like he expected exactly this. The tree does that, takes whatever you've been missing, and bakes it right in. I can't take credit. Honestly, I just stand here and apologize to the dough when it overproofs. He pats the loaf affectionately. Don't listen to him. You're perfect. He hands you a smaller loaf, round, warm, the size of your fist. "For your pocket," he says. "It stays warm. Don't ask. Tree thing." You tuck it into your pocket beside the lantern. The two settle in together, warm and warm, like they've agreed to keep each other company. Tobin walks you to the hatch and pauses with his hand on the latch. His face goes a little serious for the first time. "Once you cross the cloud line," he says, "the regular rules retire. Don't argue with the weather up there. Just say thank you. The tree's been very patient with me about this. I'm passing the favor on." You nod. You don't fully understand. You suspect understanding isn't the point. Tobin opens the hatch. Cool air rushes in, smelling of mist. "Climb," he says, smiling again. "The clouds are expecting you. They've been talking about you all morning. They're very excited. Don't let it go to your head." You climb. 4. The cloud line. The mist starts gently, a wisp here, a curl there. The leaves around you grow paler, the gold-green dimming to silver-white, as if someone is slowly turning down the saturation of the world. You climb a few more steps, and the mist thickens, then thickens again, and then you're inside it. The cloud. It's not what you expected. You always thought clouds would be wet, like fog, like rain held in suspension. But this is dry, cool and dry and soft, like climbing through wool. The mist wraps around you completely, pressing close, kindly. You can't see the trunk anymore. You can't see your feet. You can barely see your own hands when you hold them in front of your face. The ladder is still there, though. You can feel it under your palms, under your boots, every step exactly where it should be. The bark is warm, in a way it wasn't lower down, almost reassuring, like the tree is saying, "Yes, I know, this part is weird. Just keep going." You consider, briefly, whether you are still in your backyard. The bark says yes. Your eyes say no. You decide to trust the bark. The bark has not lied to you yet. The bark has, in fact, been remarkably honest, which is more than you can say for most of the things in your life. You climb blind. The cloud muffles everything: sound, sight, the sense of how high you've gone. Your breath sounds louder than usual. Your heartbeat keeps you company. The lantern in your pocket glows softly through the fabric of your shirt, a small gold pinprick in all the silver white. The bread is still warm against your hip. You are, you realize, not alone in this cloud. You have brought small, warm things with you. Somewhere, far away, or maybe right next to your ear, you can't tell. The cloud hums. Not a word, not a melody, a low, gentle hum, the way a cat purrs when it's comfortable. The cloud, apparently, is happy you're passing through. You decide to take Tobin's advice. "Thank you," you say into the mist. The hum rises slightly, pleased. You feel ridiculous and also entirely correct. You keep climbing, higher, higher. The mist begins to brighten, not from your lantern, from somewhere above. Light filtering down through the cloud, growing stronger, going from silver to white to gold. And then, all at once, you break through. Your head emerges, then your shoulders, then the rest of you, pulling yourself up onto a branch above the cloud line, and you stop, and you look around, and you forget how to do anything except look. You are above the clouds. Below you, stretching to every horizon, is a sea of white, soft and rolling and endless, lit gold by a sun that shouldn't be visible at this hour, but is, casting long shadows across the cloud tops like sand dunes made of light. The tree continues upward through the cloud sea, its trunk silver and ancient, its branches reaching into a sky that is bluer than any sky you have ever seen. And above, pages, hundreds of them, drifting through the air like leaves, like snow, like a blizzard of paper that has decided to take its time getting anywhere. You climb toward them. 5. The Wind Library. There are no shelves. This is the first thing your brain refuses to accept. A library has shelves. A library has rooms. A library is, by definition, an indoor activity. And yet, here you are, on a branch above a cloud sea, surrounded by pages that are very clearly library-ish in nature. Old paper, deckled edges, lines of small, careful print, and absolutely no shelves anywhere in sight. The pages drift on the wind. Hundreds of them. They move slowly, deliberately, as if the wind has a system and isn't in a hurry to explain it. On a branch ahead, alone, sits an old woman. She's small, smaller than Wren, bird-like even. Her hair is a soft cloud of white, pulled back with what looks like a thin silver ribbon. She's wearing a long brown coat that seems to be made of feathers, and maybe also bark. You can't quite tell. A small, empty book rests open in her lap. She's smiling at nothing in particular. She holds out a hand without looking up. A page drifts past, hesitates, and lands neatly in her palm. Page 42 of the next one is going to be wonderful, she says to no one. I can already tell. You step onto the branch carefully. She finally looks up. Ottoline, she says, by way of introduction. The wind sorts the pages. I just sit here and see what arrives. The pages know who they're for. They've always known. The wind is simply the post office. She nods at the pages drifting around you. Some of those are looking for you, dear. Hold out your hands. You hesitate. Yes, I know, Ottoline says, smiling gently. It's very strange. Don't worry. Down on the ground, you call this serendipitous discovery. Real librarians have a word for it. Up here, the wind does it on purpose, and we just call it Tuesday. You hold out your hands. For a moment, nothing happens. The pages drift past you, around you, over you. None of them stop. Then one does. It comes to rest gently in your right palm. Yellowed paper, the edges soft. A few lines of small print near the top. The words are in handwriting you don't recognize, but somehow feel like you should. You read them. They're about a morning when you were small. You don't remember the morning exactly, but you remember the feeling. Sun through a window, someone's voice, oatmeal cooling in a bowl. Another page drifts in, then another. They settle in your hands like patient birds. You read them, one by one. Some are memories you'd forgotten. Some are memories you've never had. Possibilities, maybe, or things still coming. One page is just a list of small kindnesses someone once did for you and never mentioned. You blink hard at that one. The page waits, patient, and lets you. Ottoline reaches into her coat and produces a small book, the same shape as the empty one in her lap, but new. The cover is the color of twilight. Yours, she says. The pages will go in, then more will come as you live when the wind catches up. The book finishes itself. Don't try to write in it. That's rude to the wind, and the wind has been very patient with humans for a long time and is only just starting to enjoy this part of the job. You take the book. The pages settle into it on their own, soft, tidy, finding their places without you doing anything. The book is warm in your hands, like the bread, like the lantern. You tuck it into your pocket. The three treasures, light, bread, story, sit together against your hip. You feel, faintly, like you are becoming a small portable village. Ottoline waves a hand at the air. Climb. The market is just above. Don't look for prices. The wind takes that as a personal insult. You stand. The pages part around you, drifting on. One brushes your cheek as it passes, gently, like a hand checking your forehead for fever, and then it's gone, off to find someone else. You climb. 6. The floating market. The market drifts. That is the first thing you notice as you climb past the wind library and emerge into a wider stretch of branches. There are no stalls. There are no awnings. There are no vendors calling out. No haggling. No tables. There is only things, floating things, suspended in the air at this altitude, riding gentle cloud currents, drifting slowly past, as if the wind itself has set up a small showroom and stepped away to have a coffee. Jars, bottles, baskets, small parcels wrapped in cloud-colored paper. Each one drifts at about chest height, slow as a sleepwalker, each with a small handwritten label tied to its neck or handle by a thin thread. You step out onto a wide branch and watch them go past. A jar drifts by. The label says, in neat, looping handwriting, "One good morning, open in winter." There's a little hand-drawn sun on the corner. A bottle drifts past behind it. The sound of rain on a tent, best used on Sundays. A basket. 6 small forgivenesses, already accepted. A small wrapped parcel. A nap that counts as a full night. Used sparingly. Some part of you, raised by parents, looks for a price tag. There isn't one. The wind is offended at the suggestion. You feel the offense as a small, cool gust against your cheek, like a mother saying, "Don't embarrass me." You apologize quietly. The wind, mollified, moves on. There's no one here. No vendor, no shopkeeper, no proprietor. Just the things, drifting. The market, you understand suddenly, is self-serve. You take what calls to you. You leave nothing, because there is nothing to leave. The wind doesn't accept payment. The wind is the post office. You watch the things go by for a while. Some of them you know are not for you. You can feel it somehow, the way you can feel when a song on the radio isn't for you. The smell of a new book, lovely, but not yours. 3 confident decisions, definitely not yours, and you don't take it personally. A letter from someone who never got around to writing it. You hesitate. You let it pass. Maybe next time. Then a jar drifts toward you, slower than the others. The label is hand-drawn, a small sun rising, the same one you saw earlier. One good morning, open in winter. It pauses in the air directly in front of you, hovering, polite, patient, like a dog that has decided but is willing to wait while you decide too. You reach out. The jar settles into your palm. It's lighter than a jar should be. You can feel something inside it, but it's warm and it shifts gently, like a small contained piece of weather. You tuck it into your pocket beside the lantern, the bread, the book. 4 treasures. Your pocket should be heavy. It isn't. Things up here you're starting to notice weigh what they want to weigh. Above the market, you hear something. Singing. Not human singing. Something deeper, slower, made of more than voice. You climb. 7. The listening grove. The branches above the market grow strangely. They curve inward as you climb, bending toward each other, weaving together overhead until they form a circular space, a kind of cathedral made of wood, open to the sky above. The branches arch like the ribs of an upturned boat. The floor is a wide, flat platform of grown together limbs, smooth as a stage. The sky overhead is impossibly blue, and the place is singing. Not a person, not an instrument, the grove itself, the clouds above, a low resonant hum from somewhere below, deeper than any voice you've ever heard, a higher, thinner note from somewhere far above, like a finger circling the rim of a glass made of sky. The notes come from different directions, different altitudes, different clouds, and somehow, impossibly, they make a chord, not a melody, just a chord, held, sustained, a single enormous note made of weather. You step into the grove. The hum gets louder. You can feel it in your sternum, in your jaw, in the small bones of your inner ear. There's one person here, a child, sitting cross-legged in the center of the platform, head tilted back, eyes closed. Maybe 7, maybe 8. Hair a tangle of curls, wearing what looks like a homemade sweater, 2 sizes too big. Sleeves pushed up past the elbows. They open one eye when you step closer. "Hi," they say. "I'm Pip. I live here. Probably." Pip shrugs. The small philosophical shrug of a person who has thought about this and made peace with it. "I'm 7, I think. The tree doesn't really do birthdays. I've been 7 for a while. Maybe I always was. Tobin says I'm as old as the bread, which isn't very helpful because the bread is also confusing." They pat the wood beside them. "Sit. The clouds are doing a good one today. You sit." Pip closes their eyes again, listening. After a moment, without opening them, they say, "The trick is, you don't listen with just your ears. You listen with your whole body. The low hum is the storm clouds. They live way down there, but you can hear them up here if you're paying attention. The high note is the wispy ones, the cirrus, way up higher than us. They're thin, so they sing thin. The middle note is right around us. That's the friendly ones. They're saying hi." You close your eyes and listen. Slowly, you start to hear what Pip means. The hum is layered. The deep note vibrates in your stomach. The high note settles in the top of your skull. The middle note hums in your chest, right behind your sternum, like a cat purring inside you. Together they make a single, enormous sound that doesn't belong to any of them. It belongs to all of them at once. It belongs to the sky. Tears are sliding down your face. You hadn't noticed. They don't feel sad. They feel like leaking. Like something in you that had been sealed shut for a long time has quietly come unsealed. Pip notices, glances over with the unbothered curiosity of children. Oh yeah, the grove does that. Don't worry. Everyone leaks. You laugh, or sob, or both. A wet, small sound that is more relief than emotion. Pip laughs too, a delighted small giggle, and the clouds seem to laugh with them, the chord shifting briefly into something brighter before settling back. You stay for a long time. There's no clock here, no schedule. The chord rises and falls with the wind. Pip hums along quietly, making a fourth note, blending in with the others as easily as breathing. Eventually, Pip opens their eyes. You should go up, they say. Halden's waiting. He's always waiting. He's been waiting for like a very long time. I think he likes it. They yawn, stretch, lie back on the wood with arms behind their head. I'll be here, listening. Tell Halden I said hi. Tell him I'm not coming up tonight. He'll know why. You don't ask why. You stand. The chord hums on. You take a moment to memorize it, not to remember the notes exactly, but to remember the feeling, the way it sat in your chest, the way the sky seemed briefly possible. That's your fifth treasure, the memory of a sound. You can carry it without a pocket. You climb. 8. The stargazing branch. The clouds end. That's how it feels. Not that you climb out of them, but that they simply end, the way a beach ends at the ocean. One moment you are climbing through soft white. The next you are above all of it, and the cloud sea stretches below you to every horizon, silver white in starlight, and above you there is nothing but sky. So many stars, more than you have ever seen, more than you knew existed. The Milky Way pours across the dark like spilled silver. Constellations you recognize from childhood share the sky with constellations you have never seen, ones the regular sky doesn't bother to show you. Up here, apparently, the sky shows everything. Up here, it's done, holding back. The branch you arrive at is the highest one. The trunk has narrowed to almost a finger above your head. The branch is wide and flat and worn smooth by what must be many people sitting on it over many years. There's a man sitting at the far end of it, legs dangling into the cloud sea below. He doesn't turn as you approach. He simply shifts slightly, making room. You sit beside him. He's old, long white beard, a coat that looks like it might once have been a different color, but has settled over the years into the color of weather. In his lap, a small telescope made entirely of polished bark, gleaming faintly in the starlight. "Halden," he says eventually. "Pip says hi. Pip says they're not coming up tonight. They said you'd know why." Halden chuckles softly. "Pip never comes up. Pip says the stars are too bossy. Pip is technically correct." He raises the telescope to one eye and points it at a small cluster of stars near the horizon. "See that one? Third from the left. The bright one." You see it. A small steady star, bluish-white, alone in a patch of dark. "Doesn't have a name," Halden says. "Most of them have names. Astronomers got to most of them. But that one slipped through. Nobody named it. It's been waiting." He hands you the telescope. "The bark is warm. Of course it is. Everything in this tree is warm and surprisingly heavy. Through the lens, the star is bigger, brighter, more itself." "Name it," Halden says. "Anything. It doesn't have to be clever. It just has to be yours. Then it'll be that. Forever. Just to you. The astronomers won't know. They'll keep calling it nothing. But you'll know." You think for a long time. The star waits. It's been waiting a long time. It doesn't mind a few more minutes. Eventually, you choose a name. You don't say it out loud. Saying it out loud feels too public somehow, but you think it, clearly, deliberately, sending it across the dark to the small bright star at the edge of the cloud sea. The star, you're pretty sure, blinks once in acknowledgement. Halden nods, satisfied, as if the star has reported back. "There," he says, "yours now. You can come back any time and look. It'll be where you left it. Stars are like that, reliable." You hand the telescope back. He sets it across his knees. You sit together for a while. The cloud sea murmurs gently below. The stars wheel slowly overhead. You can feel the lantern in your pocket, the bread, the book, the jar, and now the name, settling in beside them, weightless and yours. 5 treasures. "There's a hammock," Halden says eventually, gentle as a closing door. "Just below this branch. Tree made it for nights like this, for climbers who got all the way up and need somewhere soft to land." You realize suddenly that you're tired. Not the bad kind of tired, the good kind. The kind that comes from climbing very high and seeing very much and carrying small, warm things in your pockets. Halden points the telescope at your star one last time, takes a long look, and smiles. "Sleep well," he says. "The star will keep watch. That's its job now." You climb down, not far, just a little, to the hammock, waiting between 2 branches just below. 9. The hammock at the top, and home. The hammock was made for you, not metaphorically, literally. It cradles you exactly, woven from something that looks like pale bark and something that looks like cloud. Both, somehow, neither, both at once. It accepts your weight as if it has been waiting for you specifically, and now it can finally rest too. You climb in. The hammock receives you the way the bark received your foot, solidly, kindly, with the air of a thing that has done this before and is good at it. Above you, through a gap in the branches, the stars, your star, glinting steadily, third from the left. Below you, the clouds see, soft and silver. Around you, the village in the clouds. Halden somewhere above with his telescope. Pip below in the listening grove, humming with the sky. Ottoline catching pages on the wind. Tobin downstairs apologizing to a loaf. Wren narrating herself into a beautiful new lantern. You reach into your pocket and find your treasures. The lantern, still warm, glowing gently through your shirt. The loaf of bread, still somehow warm, still smelling like a kitchen you almost remember. The book of twilight blue, with pages you've read and pages still drifting on the wind, working their way to you. The jar, one good morning, open in winter. You don't open it, you save it. Winter will come, and the name of a star, weightless and yours, tucked in beside the rest. You don't need anything else. You have somehow become a small, portable village of warm things. The hammock sways. The cord from the listening grove drifts up faintly, the clouds still singing their slow, patient sky song. The stars wheel overhead, polite and ancient. Your eyes grow heavy. You sleep. You wake in your bed. Morning light filters through your window. Your pillow is soft beneath your head. Your blanket is warm around your body. Everything is exactly as it should be, exactly as it's always been. Except, you sit up, you look out the window. The tree is still there, ancient, enormous, rising impossibly high, its canopy disappearing into clouds that shouldn't be that low. The carved ladder spirals upward into the leaves, exactly where you left it. The tree stands in your backyard like it has always been there, like it always will be. You reach into your pocket, and there they are, the small lantern, still glowing gently, the loaf of bread, still warm, still smelling faintly of a kitchen from somewhere, the book of twilight, a few new pages filled in already. You don't read them yet. You want to save them. The jar, one good morning, warm in your palm and waiting for winter. And the name of a star, settled quietly somewhere in the back of your mind, ready to be looked up at any time you choose. It was real, all of it. Wren narrating her own work, Tobin apologizing to the bread, the cloud purring around you in the dark, Ottoline catching pages on the wind, the market drifting past with its small handwritten labels, Pip and the singing grove. Halden and the unnamed star, now named, now yours. The tree is still there. The ladder is still carved. The climb is still waiting. Whenever the world feels too heavy and you need somewhere lighter, you can climb. Tonight, tomorrow, any night the world gets too loud. The branches will hold you. The clouds will hum at you. The wind will sort the pages and find the ones meant for you. The lanterns will be lit. The bread will be warm. The star will be where you left it. You lie back against your pillow. The morning sun warms your face. Somewhere above the clouds, a village is waking up. Wren is starting a new lantern. Tobin is checking on the loaves. Ottoline is sorting the morning's pages. Pip is listening to whatever song the clouds are singing today. Halden is sleeping, probably, having watched the stars all night. And in the hammock at the top, suspended between branches above the cloud sea, an empty space sways gently, patient, waiting, ready for you. You are safe. You are held. You are home. Both homes, the one on the ground and the one in the sky. Sweet dreams. Good night.